Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to be showing you my collection of Phil Collins, and I am a huge Phil Collins fan. I haven't got all of his albums, but I've heard the majority of his material. So anyway, I'll start off by showing you my 7-inch singles collection. So the first one I've got is In the Air Tonight from his first album, Face Value. Excellent track and probably one of his best known ones. Very atmospheric, and it's backed with The Roof is Leaking, which is also a phenomenal track from the first album. And this came out in 1981 on the Virgin record label, although it's got like Phil Collins' signature style label on here. And there's the B-side. Both written by Phil Collins, of course, who is an absolutely fantastic songwriter as well as singer, and of course drummer. And the next one here is a later issue of In the Air Tonight. However, this is a remix of it, so it's not quite the same. And this came out in 1988, I believe, seeing as it says 88 remix. So it's just a slightly different version of In the Air Tonight. And it's got a different B-side as well, I Missed Again, which was also a single, and I'll be showing that one in a moment. And this is on the later Virgin label, which is just the usual black and silver affair. That was the B-side, there's the A-side. And he had 3 singles from his first album. In the Air Tonight was the first, and the next one is If Leaving Me Is Easy. And there's a picture cover for it there. And on side 2 is Drawing Board, which isn't from his first album. And this is on the Virgin label as well. Different colour though. So like kind of light blue label. And looking here, you actually get several songs on the B-side. You get In the Air Tonight, I Missed Again, and If Leaving Me Is Easy. So it's very good value for money really to get all those songs on here. And here we have the third and final single from Face Value, I Missed Again. And it's backed with I'm Not Moving. And there's the label for this one. So that's his initial singles. I've actually got 2 copies of that one, so I'll just bypass that next single. And I'll move on to one of my personal favourites, You Can't Hurry Love, which is a cover of a 60s song. And there's the back. It's backed with I Cannot Believe It's True. And this came out in 1982. And there's the label for it. So very different to the labels that accompany his first few singles. And there's the B-side. Now, as you can see, I've got another copy of this, and there is actually a difference between these 2 copies, and I'll just quickly show you that. So, on the copy I've got here, the cover is laminated, as you can see by how shiny it is. Whereas on this copy here, the cover's not laminated, it's just like it's just paper. So I'll hold the 2 up. So just a slight difference there. And here we have a slightly lesser known Phil Collins track. And it didn't chart very high, I don't think. And it's called Don't Let Him Steal Your Heart Away. It's got a weird cover. And it's backed with Thunder and Lightning, which is actually from Face Value, even though the single isn't. And this came out in 1982 as well. And there's the pink and blue Virgin label. And here's Against All Odds, which is from the film Against All Odds, which I haven't actually seen. And there's the back. Came out in 1984. And there's kind of the usual Virgin label. Got green with a red stripe, and on the B side red with a green stripe. And the B side's actually done by Mike Rutherford rather than Phil Collins, and Mike Rutherford of course was in Genesis. And here we have one of the collaborations, if you like, that Phil Collins did, and this one is with Philip Bailey, and it's one of my favourite Phil Collins tracks actually, Easy Lover. A very catchy song. And that's the two of them on the back. And this is on a joint label of CBS and Virgin. And Woman's the B-side. So that's a very good single. And then this next version of Easy Lover I've got is a foreign release. I believe it's an American release. Advertises Philip Bailey's album Chinese Wall. So there's barely any mention of Phil Collins on here, interestingly. And in fact this is a German release, not an American release, it's a German release, and it's on CBS. So it's interesting that the only mention of Phil Collins on this label is just a tiny little bit in parentheses down here, and then there's a massive Philip Bailey on the side. So we're obviously trying to market Philip Bailey more than Phil Collins. And this is a picture cover that I really like, and it's for the single Studio. Got a blue Phil Collins face there. And this is backed with the man with the horn. And there's the back of the cover there, with an interesting diagram. And I'm assuming that diagram is because it's from the album No Jacket Required, and it's a diagram of a jacket. So anyway, here's the blue label, back to kind of Phil Collins' own style labels with the cursive font. And the next track is One More Night, and it's another of my personal favourites. And on the B side is I Like the Way. So 1985. It's got a brown label. And the next one's one of my absolute favourite picture covers of Phil Collins, and this is the one for Take Me Home. I just think that's a really nice yellow design on there. And there's the back. And on the B side is We Said Hello Goodbye. And this is on a yellow label. However, it's got no centre in the middle, so there's an insert in there. And there's the other side. And here we have another duet, and this is on the song Separate Lives. And this is Phil Collins and Marilyn Martin. Excellent track. And this is the love theme from White Nights. And on the back it advertises both the film and Phil Collins album, and No Jacket Required. And it's backed with Only You and I Know. Still 1985. And here we have A Groovy Kind of Love, which is a cover of a 60s song, I believe originally done by the Mindbenders. And this is an excellent version, I think. And it's from the film Buster, which I have seen. And the instrumental track Big Noise is the B-side. It's got a black virgin label for this one. And there's the B-side. And here we have, from the same album, Two Hearts, another great track. There's the back. This is backed with The Robbery excerpt, which is another instrumental track. And it's got the same kind of black label as A Groovy Kind of Love had. And I've just got a duplicate copy of that there, so we'll skip over that. And then we have the single Another Day in Paradise from the But Seriously album. That's the back. And then Heat on the Sheet is the B-side. And there's the black and silver label. And the next one I've got doesn't actually have a picture cover. I've just got a white sleeve for it. And it's from the same album. And it's a song called I Wish It Would Rain Down, which is a really excellent song in my opinion. And here it is. It's got a jukebox centre there. And this was released in 1990. And on the back there's a song called Homeless, which is Another Day in Paradise demo. So that's interesting. And then the next single is one called That's Just the Way It Is. And it's got an interesting cover. And this is also from 1990, and it advertises the But Seriously album on the back. And the B-side is something called Broadway Chorus, which is apparently a demo of Something Happened on the Way to Heaven, a home demo. And as usual, there's just the black label. on both sides. And the next single here is called Both Sides of the Story, which is one of these early 90s ones. And still very good. Still producing some good stuff at this point. From 1993. And on the back is a live version of a song called Always. And it's got a black and silver label. And here's a different version of Both Sides of the Story. I think this is just some type of jukebox demo or something like that. It's got a completely black label with a jukebox center. I'll have to hold it up to the light so I can actually see what it says. It's got the Phil Collins, Both Sides of the Story, and all the same information on, except it's actually got just a black label rather than a black and silver label or anything. And it's got the same B-side as well, Always Live. And now I've got a few 12-inch singles to show. So the first one is You Can't Hurry Love from 1982, as we saw earlier. This is the 12-inch version, and there's the back. It's got all the same information on. And here is the 12-inch single. And there's another track on here actually. It's called Oddball, which is a home demo version of Do You Know, Do You Care? And of course what made 12-inch singles value for money is that not only did you often get like an extended version of the single, but you would often get extra tracks on here as well. So 12-inch singles could be very interesting for that reason. And here's a 12-inch version of Easy Lover, which is an extended and remixed version. And there's the back. And here's the same label from the 7-inch. And this one doesn't have any bonus tracks, it's just the A and the B side. And here we have Separate Lives. And the B side, or the back I should say. And here's the label for this one. And features an extended version of the B-side, an extended remix. And here's the 12-inch version of the 88 remix, which is also an extended version of In the Air Tonight. And you get an extended version of In the Air Tonight on side 1 actually. Then you get the 88 remix on side 2 along with I Missed Again. And I like that on the A-side label you get the picture of Phil Collins' face. And there's side 2. And here I've actually got two different versions of A Groovy Kind of Love. I've got the regular version here first of all, show this one properly. So there's the single there, and there's the B-side on the back, and the record here. However, this version that I've got here is slightly more elaborate in that it's actually got a gatefold sleeve which opens up like that. So it's got Buster written inside, which I think is really nice. And the singles are just the same as the other one, so that hasn't changed. It's just the slightly more deluxe packaging on the single. And finally, I've just got some LPs to show. So this is Face Value, his debut solo album. And there's a track list on the back. It's quite hard to see, but it's a very, very good track listing on here. And it opens up to a gatefold of all sorts of pictures and credits. And here's the Virgin label for this album. There's just side 2 there. Interestingly, he does a version of the Beatles' Tomorrow Never Knows, which is very interesting but very good. And here we have his second album, Hello, I Must Be Going. And here's the track listing for this one. I believe I Don't Care Anymore was also a single for this album, as well as You Can't Hurry Love and Don't Let Him Steal Your Heart Away. And here's the gatefold for this album, which is another collage of photos. And it's got a nice dark blue label here. And the next album I've got is No Jacket Required, from I believe 1985. Yep. And there's the nice orange back and the track listing. And here's the label for it. And here's the soundtrack to the film Buster, featuring many 60s artists. And there's the full track listing on the back. And here's the Virgin label for this album. Quite an unusual one. And here we have one of my favourite Phil Collins albums, but seriously, from 1989. There's a lot of my favourite songs on here. And there's the black version label. And finally, I've got a live album, and this is Series Hits Live. And I'll show you the cover for this one. So there's the back, and there's the track listing. Lots of tracks there, all big hits. And here's the gatefold. So there, it's got some information and some pictures. And I'll just show you one of the labels. This is a double album. And this is what the labels look like. Okay, so that's the end of today's video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.